Tonight, 52 weeks and counting to the presidential election. Democrat Clinton is way out in front nationally. Obama and Edwards will try to stop her in Iowa. Republican Romney leads in Iowa, but trails Giuliani nationally. And the GOP race looks wide open. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, the United States sends Pakistan a message. The ambassador says hold elections on schedule. And how some employers are forcing their workers to be fit. They could feel a financial pinch for their paunch.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. State and local elections are being held all around the country this election day, but just 52 weeks from tonight, the big one, when we choose a new president. On the Republican side, 1 year out, a CBS News poll finds Giuliani in the lead, but that is a national poll. Remember, it's a state-by-state battle for the nomination that is just beginning. Tonight, we have a team of correspondents as we begin the countdown to November 4th, 2008. First, Nancy Cordes in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Nancy?
Katie, we caught up with two major Republican candidates in this early battleground state today, and even they acknowledge that this Republican race is still very much anybody's game.
It's been decades since a Republican primary race was this wide open.
Any of 5 candidates could conceivably get the nomination.
Republican strategist Whit Ayers says it's partly because the top candidates' positions are remarkably similar.
You have to stop it at the border.
We have to enforce the border.
With a few notable exceptions.
McCain on immigration and climate change, Giuliani on abortion and gay rights.
How much difference is there between you and the other candidates on some of these major issues?
Well, you know, from what they're saying today, there's not that much difference. But from what they've said their entire career up until now, there's a lot of difference.
Pollsters pin the lack of consensus for one candidate on an apathetic Republican electorate. 32% say they're less enthusiastic about voting than they were 4 years ago, compared to just 15% of Democrats.
What they're really looking for is Ronald Reagan, and he's not here.
South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford says the trouncing taken by the GOP in the 2006 midterm elections has made Republican voters cautious.
In some ways, Jesus himself could come back as a candidate, and there'd still be the introspection with a lot of folks out there saying, well, I don't know, I don't like his robe, or I really don't like his beard.
One thing voters seem to like is high visibility. Polls show Mitt Romney leading by double digits in Iowa and 7 points in New Hampshire. He visits both states every week. He's battling it out for first in Michigan and in a 3-way dead heat in South Carolina, 2 other early primary states. But polls show Rudy Giuliani is leading nationwide.
The candidate who shares the least with the conservative base of this party when it comes to social issues is actually in the lead. What does that say?
Well, those that do share common values with regards to social conservatism probably have 70% of the votes split among quite a few of us. And as the race narrows down, I think you'll see that conservatives will rally around a candidate, and that'll be our nominee.
And that's why with less than 2 months to go before the first primary, you'll hear those candidates taking every opportunity they can to tout their conservative credentials. Katie?
Nancy Cordes, thanks very much. And now to the Democrats. Our CBS News poll finds that nationally, Clinton has a 2-to-1 lead over Obama, with Edwards trailing. Jim Axelrod in Cedar Rapids tells us tonight they're all looking ahead to their first head-to-head battle just over 8 weeks away. Jim?
That's right, Katie. It may be a year to the next presidential election, but that is not the date most on the mind of the Democratic frontrunner.
We got to be ready to go on the 3rd.
That's January 3rd, the Iowa caucuses, the first votes cast. Hillary Clinton's lead in the national polls is much smaller here in Iowa, 6 points. Compared to New Hampshire, where she has a decisive lead, Iowa is the best chance for Obama and Edwards to stop her.
A big national poll lead doesn't mean anything. It will evaporate overnight if somebody beats Hillary Clinton here.
The stakes in Iowa, coupled with Clinton's first stumbles in last week's debate,
We have failed.
No. You said yes. No. You thought it made sense to do it.
Have injected a new intensity into the race. Come on, let's go. Obama, running as an outsider and uniter, had been timid in his attacks. Not anymore.
And she's run so far what Washington would call a textbook campaign. The problem I have and the disagreement we have is with the textbook itself.
Edwards has been even sharper, taking on her votes for war in Iraq and a recent resolution targeting Iran.
Senator Clinton is voting like a hawk in Washington and talking like a dove in Iowa and New Hampshire.
Clinton, positioning herself as the candidate of experience, is trying to seem at ease with what will be 8 more weeks of sniping.
If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, and I'm very much at home in the kitchen, so I think I'll stick around.
Iraq, the economy, health care, they're all important to Democrats. But if Iowa is any indication, what matters more than anything is a candidate's electability.
People don't go around with a checklist of issues. They look at candidates as individuals. Do they like them? Do they trust them? And that's an intangible that's hard to quantify.
This time 4 years ago, the eventual nominee, John Kerry, was running 6th here in Iowa. He came from way back in the final few weeks, and when Democratic caucus goers were asked why they supported him, they said it was simple. He was the most electable candidate. Katie?
Jim Axelrod in Cedar Rapids, Iowa tonight. Republican Ron Paul, meanwhile, who came up with 0 in our latest poll, has nonetheless set something of a record for fundraising. More than $4 million from 37,000 donors on the internet in just one day. Jeff Greenfield is our senior political correspondent. Obviously, the internet, Jeff, is Ron Paul's best friend.
This is a dramatic example of what's called viral political marketing. It was a grassroots effort. A Ron Paul supporter picked out November 5th, Guy Fawkes Day. It's a British holiday celebrating a plot to blow up Parliament. Said, let's get as much money as we can and put up a web offering, this web offering. Let's take a look. This focuses, you'll notice, on Ron Paul's strong opposition to the Iraq war, and it worked.
A lot of people may be watching this and hearing this and wondering, who is this guy?
Fair enough. He's a 72-year-old Texas congressman, a libertarian. That's a philosophy that opposes government action almost everywhere, in the bedroom and boardroom, although Paul is against abortion. Among other things, for this campaign, he's very strongly against foreign intervention. He says wars make government too powerful. He even thinks 9/11 was in part a response to our, what he calls, worldwide imperialism. Very strong opposition.
And now he is setting his sights on New Hampshire, and he might find a receptive audience there.
1,000,001 is his ad buy in New Hampshire. That state's motto is live free or die. They love contrarians, and while a lot of Ron Paul supporters are independents, in New Hampshire, independents can vote in either primary. If money's the mother's milk of politics, he just got himself a dairy.
All right, Jeff Greenfield. Jeff, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's 1 year, by the way, since the Democrats took over Congress, and 1 year till they're up for re-election. We're going to look at the state of the 110th Congress tomorrow night. But one other important political note tonight, the Senate Judiciary Committee approved the nomination of Michael Mukasey as Attorney General. The vote was 11-8. Democrats Schumer and Feinstein joined all 9 Republicans in voting yes. The full Senate is expected to confirm Mukasey next week. For a time, his nomination was in doubt over his refusal to say whether he considers waterboarding torture. Overseas today, more violence in Pakistan. Police again attacked and arrested lawyers protesting the state of emergency. President Musharraf imposed it over the weekend, citing a need to clamp down on terrorists. But today, militants linked to al-Qaeda took control of the northwest town of Mata, and government security forces gave up without a fight. Sheila McVicker is in Islamabad. Sheila, Pakistan's ousted Chief Justice spoke out today.
He did, Katie, by cell phone from his home where he's under house arrest. The government tried to jam the signal, but not before he called on people to rise up. That's adding to tension here as the government again seems to be backsliding on elections. Another day in Pakistan under emergency rule, and the government again seems ready to break commitments made just hours earlier to the U.S. that crucial elections would go ahead as planned. So the first stop on the U.S. ambassador's schedule this morning, a very pointed visit to Pakistan's Electoral Commission.
So you entirely anticipate the elections will be held on time by January 15th?
Yes.
Well, that's very good news, Mr. Commissioner, very good news.
The ambassador brought our CBS camera crew along to hammer home the point. The world, especially Washington, is watching.
The message that my government is sending and has sent is that we expect elections to be held on schedule on or before January 15th.
But some political leaders are now in hiding, thousands of their supporters rounded up. Lawyers are leading the protests. Independent media is still silenced. And Benazir Bhutto, the opposition leader the U.S. was counting on to do a deal with General Musharraf to help restore democracy through those elections, now says she was betrayed.
And to my great surprise and shock, instead of going towards democracy, we ended up with martial law. So I feel it was a breach of faith.
Bhutto arrived in Pakistan's capital as Musharraf's other political opponents plot their next move. But even she's not entirely trusted by them.
In coming to Islamabad tonight, Benazir Bhutto says she's going to meet with opposition parties. But she says she won't meet, at least not alone, with President Musharraf to talk about elections or any other aspect of the emergency.
There is a deepening sense of crisis here as the clampdown continues, not on the extremists Musharraf said threatened the country, but on moderates and those who support the rule of law. We've been hearing tonight from a government minister who's been taking part in cabinet discussions about the timing of those elections. Unbelievably, given the reaction from the U.S. and elsewhere, they're still talking about postponement. And the minister said, well, we might have miscalculated. Katie?
Sheila McVicker reporting from Islamabad. Sheila, thank you. And there was an historic meeting at the Vatican today, the first between a pope and a Saudi king, the head of the world's strictest Islamic state. Benedict and Abdullah discussed peace in the Middle East, and the Pope raised his concern over the lack of religious freedom in Saudi Arabia. There is much more CBS News ahead. President Bush announced today the FDA will be given new powers to protect consumers from tainted products from overseas, everything from toothpaste to dog food. Acting on recommendations from an advisory panel, the president will give the agency the power to order recalls. Until now, the FDA could only ask for voluntary recalls. Meanwhile, more Americans are overweight than ever, and now some employers are telling them, shape up or pay up. Nearly half the nation's large employers now offer financial incentives for workers to adopt healthier lifestyles. If they fail, some employers charge them up to thousands of dollars more for health benefits. Tonight, Dean Reynolds begins a special series, Forced to be Fit.
For Kim Jackson, exercise is a way of life now. 2 years of a rigorous regimen have literally transformed her from this.
You were 280.
278.
You really do look like a different person. I mean, a completely different person.
But Kim changed because she had little choice. Her employer, the Benton County, Arkansas government, told her and every other out-of-shape worker to get healthy or be punished, because the cost of providing health care coverage for them was getting out of hand.
I have to tell you that when our plan was hemorrhaging, it was about a bottom line issue, but it was about an employee's bottom line.
The county raised its annual deductible from $750 in 2004 to $2,750 in 2005. But it built an incentive into the plan, enabling county workers to cut that amount to as low as $500 if they were able to pass yearly fitness tests. Cholesterol lower than 160, glucose lower than 126, blood pressure 140/90, and no nicotine. Get healthy, save money. But many employees were offended initially.
Didn't like it.
Why not?
I don't want no one telling me I'm that bad out of shape. No one wants to have it in their face.
I think at first you're a little skeptical, like, picking on me because I'm fat, what's going on?
You're forcing a lifestyle on your workers.
We had to do something to protect the plan and protect their access to health care. And I think there's a lot of companies out there that are facing or are facing the same thing we were.
She's right. A growing number of companies are telling workers to get healthy or pay more for insurance. So, is the plan working? Consider these numbers. Before the plan started, the county health care fund was nearly $500,000 in the red. 17 months after the plan took effect, the county health care fund was more than $1 million in the black. Healthier workers, it seems, are filing less expensive claims.
How much weight did you lose?
Lost 22 pounds.
I lost 40 pounds.
54.
Still, critics worry that some employers have ulterior motives.
They're looking for ways to cut costs, and unfortunately, some employers are going about it the wrong way.
and they're trying to simply push those costs onto their employees.
Did you find it to be intrusive or
Yes,
get out of my face?
Yes,
or?
I hated it. I thought that it was a violation of my rights.
But being told to lose weight or lose money has paid off.
And I feel so much better.
Dean Reynolds, CBS News, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Another story about big money tonight. The price of oil traded above $97 for the first time ever. It closed at $96.70, a gain of $2.72 for the day. The Energy Department, meanwhile, predicted today that gasoline will hit a record high of $3.24 by May. Coming up next, Daddy's home from the war, a family reunion that's priceless. 6 more Americans have been killed in Iraq, most of them by roadside bombs north of Baghdad. Despite a recent downturn in violence, this is now the deadliest year of the war for U.S. forces, with at least 852 deaths, 2 more than all of 2004. The U.S. death toll since the invasion is at least 3,855. But we end tonight on a much brighter note, a surprise reunion in Jacksonville, Florida. As Mark Strassman reports, an 8-year-old girl got her wish.
Mrs. Ruffin's 3rd graders never saw it coming, especially one of them. Navy Senior Chief Terry Doss was heading their way to surprise his daughter, Terrian.
Yeah, I am pretty full, choked up, so just ready to get in there and hug her.
Doss left for Iraq last Christmas and hasn't seen his daughter since. She thinks he's still there. Not anymore.
It's Mr. Doe! Awesome, God bless her! Oh, he's here early!
This is one family reunion everyone can celebrate.
Oh, Terry!
Oh, God. I felt like I was about to oh. I'm really surprised. I'm so happy my daddy's here.
Something else surprised Terrian's classmates, their understanding of patriotism and its sacrifice. When this sailor came home, its meaning hit home. Terrian read him her latest letter. All he heard was how much he missed her.
I miss you. My teacher can't wait to see you. My class wants to thank you for protecting our country. I can't wait to see you and give you a big fat hug and kiss.
Doss heads back to Iraq next week, but until then, no little girl will feel more safe or more loved. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
And that's the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Crest White Strips Daily Multicare. This is the only 5-minute strip that brightens your smile in 3 ways, all with just 5 minutes a day. Crest White Strips Daily Multicare.